To begin today, some big news in Colombia. The Colombian government and the FARC guerrillas have announced a final agreement regarding victims' reparation as part of that country's ongoing armed struggle. Now, the announcement was made in Havana in the presence of a delegation of victims' representatives that arrived Monday night to Cuba. The historic deal includes a set of measures to protect the victims and prevent situations which led to their victimization. And for more now, we turn straight to our correspondent there in Colombia, Natalia Margarita. She is in the capital of Bogota. Natalia, pretty big step here. What are people saying? What's the reaction there in Colombia to this historic announcement?
Well, we have to say, Cody, that representatives of social movements as well as victims organizations were very, very quick to react to this announcement. They have already held right here where we are to welcome this latest announcement on a final agreement on the issue of victims and justice. Particularly, they welcome three specific principles or objectives of this announcement. That is, on the one hand, that truth is at the center of this agreement. Secondly, that there is a compensation for the victims of the armed conflict, and this compensation will be done according to the damages caused to each and every single victim here in Colombia. And the last thing is the guarantees of non-repetition. They have welcomed that in this agreement it's pretty explicit that the government and the FARC are very much committed to the guarantees of non-repetition, meaning that we don't see further victims here in Colombia. But it's also the fact that there have been a specific mechanisms to accomplish those objectives, to comply with those principles have been established. That is the so-called special jurisdiction for peace, that is the legal framework for peace, but also a commission for the clarification of the truth on the armed conflict. And the last issue is also a special unit to find all those who have in the context of the armed conflict here in Colombia. So overall, victims organizations have welcomed this agreement, but they have made it clear also that what is written in the paper is very much okay with them. They are very much okay with it. But now we still to see how this is going to be successfully implemented, Cody.
We talk a lot about paramilitarism there in Colombia. Is that issue addressed, Natalia, as part of this agreement?
It was mentioned in the agreement, Cody, and it's also a very interesting point that you ask, because victims here in this press conference that I have been here, they have said that the issue of paramilitarism it needs to be tackled. It must be tackled in order to guarantee this non-repetition. It has to do also with the issue of truth, according to them. They have said that in this commission for the truth clarification, it also needs to be exposed the connivance between sectors of the military forces and politicians here in Colombia with paramilitary groups. That is necessary to expose that truth that have been very much denied in order that the issue of paramilitarism can be tackled, and therefore to really be able to speak about guarantees of non-repetition here in Colombia, Cody.
And what about amnesty, Natalia? I understand that that's also a big part of this agreement. Exactly, do we know which crimes will be pardoned and which crimes won't be pardoned?
That's a very interesting issue too, Corey. So regarding the amnesty, it has been said that crimes against humanity will not be subject of amnesty, and this is, of course, in compliance with international humanitarian law. So this was made clear, and it's absolutely clear in the agreement that we have already received here in Colombia. So those are the crimes that are not going to be subject to amnesty, crimes against humanity.
All right, Natalia Margarita there reporting from Colombia. Historic developments there in the country's armed conflict as both sides have reached an agreement regarding victims. Natalia, thank you.